Good day, neighbor. I'm so glad you stopped by. I want to welcome back all my subscribers, and I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Today, I'm going to be talking about planting cucumbers. There are so many types and varieties of cucumbers. It's amazing. They're heirloom, they're hybrid. It's just amazing. You can pick and choose whatever type cucumber you would like. They're pickling cucumbers. They're salad cucumbers. So let's get into this video and talk about cucumbers. First and foremost, people want to know, how far apart should I plant these seeds if you direct sow? 36 to 60 inches apart. Now, that would be for if you have a trellis that it's going to go climb up. Okay, so if you have a trellis, you can plant them as close as 12 inches apart because they're going to be climbing up the trellis, so they don't need as much garden space. If you are not using a trellis, they're going to need between 36 and 60 inches apart for the plants to be planted. So what type of soil should I have for cucumbers? Well-drained soil that's fertile. I always mix in compost, and I try to mix in just a little bit of fertilizer. So can they live and thrive in full sun only, or can I put them under a tree? Well, cucumbers are going to need full sun. Cucumbers grow very quickly with very little care. As long as you water the cucumbers enough and watch them, you might get a beetle on there, and you can use food grade diatomaceous earth to make sure that the beetles don't stay around. Now, from seed to table, kind of like farm to table, but from seed to table, how many days could I expect to wait for my first cucumber? Between 50 and 70 days from planting. So you put the seeds in, you start the countdown. You put the seedlings out in the garden, or you can direct sow. It'll be between 50 and 70 days, depending on weather, the water, sunlight. And you pick the cucumbers when they're ready. And this is to avoid a bitter flavor. At times, you're going to see some cucumbers that they're huge, and they might be bitter or they might be fine. You might see some cucumbers that look like they have a sunburn. They might not taste as well. So every morning I check my garden during planting and harvest season to make sure I don't miss anything. I have missed some cucumbers before, and they were not good at all. They were just too large, and they were almost all yellow. So they were hiding under all the vines, and I just didn't see them. Now, the bush varieties, as I said before, the cucumbers, they do not need a trellis. The vining varieties need a trellis or a fence to climb on, or it would be beneficial if they could have one. Vining varieties produce more fruit, and they require a larger space. So you may want to think about that when you are planting your cucumber seeds. Well, I don't have a big garden, someone said. I have a patio. Can I plant them in pots? Of course they can. They can be grown in large containers, and you fill it with peat-free multi-purpose compost. Well, I have these tomato cages somebody gave me, so can I use those and let them climb on that? Of course you can. Put it in the pot or in the ground and let the cucumbers climb on it. The climbers. They like to grow, the climbers, they like to grow and climb. So the tomato cages work very well, and especially if they're round cages. So it's time to harvest, and I want to see approximately how many cucumbers off that one plant I'm going to get. On average, it's between 10 and 15 within a harvest period for one plant. Now, that's an average. It may be more, it may be a whole lot less. At times I've picked 20 cucumbers off of one plant and 2 off of the other one. I have no idea why. That's just the way it grew. Watering. How much water does a cucumber need? Well, deep water once a week. And make sure, again, I try to water from the bottom. Don't get the leaves wet. And I water in the morning first thing. And that way, if I accidentally get the leaves wet, it has time to dry off before the sun comes out and hits it. Now, I want to have a trellis, and I'm thinking about building different trellis in my garden. So for a cucumber, how tall does this trellis need to be, or should it be? The trellis should be, or could be, between 4 and 5 feet tall. It can be made from wood, metal, wire. You choose your material. I personally would not suggest anything plastic, but some people do use plastic trellis. I also have all these hanging baskets. Can I put cucumbers in hanging baskets? Of course you can. They will just cascade over, and they may grow up the holder for the basket, but yes, you can put cucumbers in baskets. Make sure that they're on a sturdy hook so they don't fall and injure someone or break your plants. Well, where am I supposed to plant these cucumbers? Check your area to make sure the last warning of frost has passed. In my area, it's May to June, and that's when I start planting it. May, I watch the weather. We got a little surprise last year. It was late May, early June. I was still covering things for frost warnings. Well, I am so glad you stopped by today. In the comments below, let me know what type of cucumber you are going to plant. If you're going to plant cucumbers, or are they climbers, or are you not going to have a trellis? What type of cucumber would you like to grow? You can pickle them and make pickles out of them, and there's a pickling cucumber. So I'm so glad you stopped by. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss any of the videos coming up. And I wish you great gardening.